to go into negotiations. And already the Lebanese government was very clear. The president of the republic was very clear. He said that we want to go into direct negotiations with the Israelis based on our interest, based on the interest of the Lebanese people, and not based on any other interest. And if Iran wants to use Lebanon as a bargaining chip, this is completely unacceptable according to the Lebanese authorities.
So, Laurie, it's interesting that you say that Iran has no authority, despite the fact that Iranian authorities have been saying that we are the ones who will be supporting Lebanon. But you also said something interesting, and which was what my next question was, that Hezbollah is dragging Lebanon into this war. And there are several European voices that are echoing this sentiment. They are saying that Hezbollah is the one who's dragged the country into this conflict. One, is that the larger sentiment in Lebanon? And two, there have been calls of disarmament for Hezbollah within Lebanon. There's been a tussle going on between Hezbollah and the parliament, the lawmakers as well. How is this all panning out? Because obviously there's a lot of domestic as well as global pressure.
First of all, let me just remind the audience that the Lebanese government, when it decided that the activities of Hezbollah are illegal and it banned its military activities, the Iranian refused. And the Iranian authorities and the Iranian government went very clearly and publicly said that the decisions of the Lebanese government that is being appointed legitimately is not of our concern, and Hezbollah is not going to be banned or disarmed. And again, when the Lebanese government decided that the nominated ambassador, the Iranian ambassador to Lebanon, is a persona non grata and had to leave the country, again, the Iranian authorities, government, went publicly and said, no, the Iranian ambassador is staying in Lebanon, even though the Lebanese government had said that he is a persona non grata. So therefore, for the Lebanese population, it is very clear that Iran has no interest in the Lebanese interest or in the Lebanese, what Lebanon is interested in. It's about their interest in keeping the control over Hezbollah, and therefore using Lebanon as a proxy and Hezbollah as a proxy against Israel. And this is what is being not acceptable by the Lebanese population in the country. And this is why they refuse to be dragged into this war. They had been dragged, but they refuse to continue to be dragged. And the population, definitely, they do believe that this war is not the war for the Lebanese. And even Hezbollah itself, it's not about feelings, it's about facts. Hezbollah itself, it said that when they entered into the war, in the latest round of war in March 2026, they entered because they wanted to revenge the killing of Ayatollah Khamenei. So they were very clear in their incentives, and the incentives were not like to end the Israeli occupation or end the war.
All right, let's wait and see how this moves forward. Laurie, pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much for sparing us the time and giving us a perspective on what has been the Lebanese perspective. Thanks very much, Laurie, for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, that was, of course, the Lebanese perspective. Remember, we have been telling you that, there have been several friction points around this entire conflict, even as the talks in Pakistan are set to take place this week. We're going to keep getting you all of these voices. But remember, even as we speak at the moment, the strikes are still continuing from the Israeli side. And of course, there has been that arrangement that is still underway in Pakistan as the American and Iranian representatives come there, converge there and talk about peace. But whether or not Lebanon will be included in this peace process and peace will be achieved with or without Lebanon, that's the big question that still remains. Let's get to the breaking news that's coming in at the moment. NATO Chief Mark Rutte has communicated to the US President In fact, he's communicated Trump's demands to the European countries which are part of the bloc. And according to a statement by the NATO spokesperson, United States expects concrete commitments and action to ensure freedom of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz. Mark Rutte was on a visit to Washington on Wednesday, where he and Donald Trump discussed several issues that the US president has also publicly relayed earlier. Trump, remember, is known to have expressed his, quote, disappointment with the military alliance for distancing itself in the Iran war, especially when Trump asked allies to help open the Strait of Hormuz. According to reports that are coming in, European diplomats who have been briefed on Trump's expectation, who see it as the ultimatum to NATO from the American president. That, of course, we'll have to wait and see how it moves forward. But Mark Rutte now communicating to his allies within NATO that this is Trump's ultimatum to the alliance on the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. So clearly that frustration that the American president has with NATO still continues. In fact, ultimatums and threats have now become almost routine from Trump's side against NATO. Two states and one union territory in India went to polls today. Assam, Kerala and Puducherry saw voting for their legislative assemblies. The results are scheduled to be announced on the 4th of May. 296 seats across three states, remember, have been up for grabs between regional and national parties. The state of Assam recorded 85.3% voter turnout as per the latest count. The state has turned into a high-stakes battle between two national parties. The Congress party is looking to de-seat Himanta Biswa Sarma from the position of chief minister, while the Bharatiya Janata Party is hoping that he retains the position for a second time. Remember, Himanta Biswa Sarma is contesting from the Jalukbari seat. He has been winning from this seat in consecutive elections since 2001. The Congress has fielded newcomer Bidisha Niyok to challenge Sarma from Jalukbari constituency. Meanwhile, Congress heavyweight and Assam State Party President Gaurav Gogoi is contesting from the Jorhat seat. He is currently a member of the parliament from this seat. BJP's Hitendra Nath Goswami is challenging Gaurav Gogoi from here. Moving on to the next high-stakes battle that's taking place in Puducherry. Elections for all 30 seats were held today. Voter turnout in Puducherry stood at 89.72%. The Chief Minister N. Rangaswamy of the AINRC is contesting from the Thattanchavadi seat. The BJP and the AIADMK are in alliance with Rangaswamy's AINRC. The opposition alliance is led by the Congress and DMK, while the new entrant, TVK, of actor Vijay, is contesting on 28 seats. The next big electoral fight has been taking place in Kerala, where 883 candidates are in fray across 140 constituencies. The voter turnout in the state stood at 77.88% as per the latest count. This is the three-cornered fight in the southern state. The ruling Left Democratic Front is led by the Communist parties, while their main challenger, the United Democratic Front, is led by the Congress. Meanwhile, the BJP-led NDA is also looking to expand its footprint in the southern state. Earlier in the day, Kerala's Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan and the opposition leader VD Satheesan cast their ballot. Vijayan is seeking a third term as the Chief Minister. He is contesting election from his home turf in Dharmadom. And from one election to the other, in 3 days, Hungarians will cast their vote in a parliamentary election that has been overshadowed by a long-drawn war in its neighborhood and the country's own diplomatic slant. This is, remember, the toughest challenge that the incumbent leader, Viktor Orban, is facing in 16 years of being the prime minister. Several popularity polls put his party much lower than political rival Peter Magyar's Tisza party. The latest polling trend from Politburo shows that the ruling Fidesz, with 40.7% popularity, stands against the opposition TISA, which is at 49%. Viktor Orban can only cover the 8.3% gap based on how undecided voters cast their ballot and which way supporters of small parties go. Viktor Orban's popularity in this election, remember, is in contrast to the polling trends from the 2022 elections. 4 years back, the same pollster had showed the Fidesz party with 53.1% popularity, 12.4% more than what it is now.
Here, what is at stake is very serious. This is really about making a choice. It is a choice about whether we remain Hungarians in Hungary or we integrate into the EU, which is in the process of disintegrating, so it will not be a permanent thing. But at the moment it looks like it. And if Ukraine also got into the EU, it would be a very big problem.
Voters are divided over wanting a change of guard in Hungary and keeping the country out of war under Viktor Orban's leadership. If Peter Magyar wins this election, there is fear that the leader will involve Hungary militarily in the Russia-Ukraine war and also push for a more Eurocentric diplomatic approach. And our correspondent Ross Cullen has sent us this report from Budapest on how voters are viewing the upcoming election and everything that is at stake this time. Take a look.
Well, just 3 days to go now here in Hungary until the general election on the 12th of April. The potential to be one of the most consequential elections here in Hungary in decades. Viktor Orban has been Prime Minister here since 2010. He has won election after election, but he is facing a very tough challenge from a centre-right challenger, this upstart party, TISA party, with its 45-year-old leader, Peter Magyar. He has certainly been leading in the polls consistently for weeks. It is giving people who want a change of government the possibility that there could be a new Prime Minister for the first time in 16 years. However, Viktor Orban's party do control the state media, the courts. They've been removing checks and balances. There have been accusations of gerrymandering political districts and electoral constituency and favours for big business contracts with family and friends. They have certainly got some support from abroad, endorsements from Vladimir Putin, Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu, and accusations that Ukraine is trying to influence the election. However, there is a multi-generational support for Peter Magyar. It's a big tent that he has following him, left-wing and centrists and centre-right as well, conservatives who might have been supporting Viktor Orban in the past seem to be starting to put their support behind the new TISA party. We will have to see on Sunday into Monday if Viktor Orban has managed to fight off the challenge and remain in power for another 4 years, or if Hungary is going to have a change of government. Ross Cullen, WION, Budapest.
Nepal's new government is taking on old guards that dominated the country's politics for years. The investigations have been launched against two former prime ministers now. KP Sharma Oli is facing the probe for deadly crackdown on the last year's Gen Z protests, and Sher Bahadur Deuba is facing a money laundering probe. Former Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli was released after 12 days of detention. In fact, he was arrested, remember, after the Inquiry Commission recommended prosecuting him for failing to stop security forces from opening fire on the demonstrators. After being released, KP Sharma Oli issued a statement on social media. He called his detention as illegal and accused Balendra Shah government of prejudice and vindictiveness. Another former Prime Minister who finds himself in a legal soup is Sher Bahadur Deuba. A Kathmandu district court has issued an arrest warrant against Deuba and his wife in a money laundering case. The move places the couple on a fugitive list as authorities prepare to seek an Interpol red notice. Deoba and his wife are reportedly living in Singapore. He has served 5 terms as Prime Minister of Nepal. He is a senior leader of the Nepali Congress Party. During last year's Gen Z uprising in the country, Deoba's residence was among the buildings that was torched by protesters. Videos of attacks on him and his wife also surfaced during this unrest. Like KP Sharma Oli, Deoba has also rejected all charges against him and called the investigation a conspiracy. Campaigning for Peru's presidential elections has now ended. In the final hours of the campaigning, the presidential hopefuls held rallies across the country to consolidate support ahead of the crucial election. The end of campaigning has now triggered the silence period across the country, leaving voters with a brief time for reflection before heading to polls on the 12th of April. The election in Peru comes at a time of deep political instability. The country has seen 8 presidents in just over a decade. This has fueled public demand for change and an end to what many describe as a revolving door of leadership.
Lo que está en juego es que podamos seguir.
What is at stake is whether we continue on the path we are on today, decline, crime, authorities colluding with criminals, or whether we set the country on a new course, making room for development and growth.
Le damos un espacio al desarrollo y al crecimiento.
Now, against this backdrop, a diverse field of candidates are competing for the top job, with no single figure really dominating the race at the moment. There are a total of 35 candidates vying for Peru's presidency. A large number of them will make it tough for one to breach the 50% mark, making runoff election the most likely outcome of the Sunday polls. Apart from the president, Peruvians will also elect a new bicameral Congress for the first time in more than 30 years. The new legislature will include 130 deputies and 60 senators, marking a significant change in the country's political structure. The scale of the election has been massive. More than 6,000 candidates running for the lower house and another 3,000 competing for the Senate. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Race to Power. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Bye-bye.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening, as we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch. In-depth coverage of global issues broken down into facts, figures, and simple words. Backed with analysis from field experts who truly matter, because we believe in decoding the real picture for you. So you get a much wider and deeper understanding of stories from around the world, a 360-degree analysis. An award-winning documentary series, week after week creating the maximum impact. Watch WION Wide Angle at these times on WION. World is One.
Campaigns, elections, alliances,